to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Razabani for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to have with me on Zoom today, Head of Sports for Meta Visionaries, the knowledge himself, Spencer Fearon. Spence, I kind of got used to doing you face to face last week, and we're back on the Zoom this week. How are we doing?
You know what? I'm fantastic weekend of boxing that we had. You got to big up Boxer, all of their teams, Sky. The show that we witnessed over the weekend was incredible. All of the fights were wicked. Yeah, I mean, female boxing is flying the flag high for professional boxing, and I hope that Criticise takes the UK as a second home, because she was greatly appreciated. She was also appreciated going into the fight, but that's just obvious because you're up against one of our own. But I mean, when you can demonstrate skills like that, you win over a lot of people, and that's what she did.
Spence, it's crazy to think like the chief support and main event in Mayer, Baumgardner, Shields, and Marshall. They talked a lot. You know, they hyped it a lot, and sometimes when that happens, you end up not walking the walk on fight night and disappointing. But all four ladies talked the talk and all walked the walk on Saturday night.
You know what? It's more. I would say it's just like like in UFC, the best have to go and fight the best because they haven't got multiple different options to take easier fights and blah 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 and all the rest of it. And this is what we're seeing demonstrated in professional female boxing, right? It's like you got good talent, right? Which is far and few between, and then you have a plethora of mediocre talent. But then when you get that elite level, we only get elite level fighters. And what we saw on the weekend was crazy. Really, it was nuts. I mean, I went in a barbershop today, big up Colby Cuts. Right, I got in a barbershop today, right, to just get a quick fade, and everybody was talking about it, and they were saying the same thing. You know what I mean? Every fight was like, wow. You know what I mean? Every fight. It was a great show. Great show.
Sold out O2, done record-breaking numbers on Sky, and Clarissa's put it out there herself that not only did she be victorious and won the belt, but also made over 7 figures. It's great to see women getting a good pay package as well.
1,000,000%, because when you see skills demonstrated like that, and when you also see a great fight, even though Fury-Chisora was a comprehensive winner, it was still a competitive fight. So let's not take away nothing from Savannah Marshall. And like I was saying earlier, like, this fight is going to be Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns, their first fight in 1981, September. It was totally different because Fury-Chisora's turned up. I saw a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard in her, right? But I was talking, I sent her a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard tapes to go and watch. You know what I mean? I saw a lot of Sugar Ray in her. I saw Floyd in her at certain times, especially when she's backing up on the rocks and she's countering off of and throwing back her returns when Savannah was throwing her right hands and left hooks. I saw a lot of Pernell Whitaker in her as well. You know what I mean? I saw touches of Roy Jones. I saw all of those combined into one to show why she rightfully can call herself the GOAT. You know what I mean? A freeweight world champion, being undisputed in all of those categories that she's been in, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and the World Games and gold medalist. Nobody can ever argue that she's not the GOAT. You got to give her a due. What she done there was incredible. She's the GOAT.
No, absolutely. And like you said, it was a great weekend by Boxer and Sky, and hopefully we can see many more nights like this with women's boxing. Spence, just moving on, strong rumors to be announced. It seems like Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora is going to land at Tottenham Football Stadium on December 3rd. Just want to get your kind of instant reaction to that news.
My instant reaction is that history repeats itself. That is it. You know what I mean? History repeats itself. When you look on, you have to go back with 1939. You know me, right? 1939, Joe Lewis fights a man called John Henry Lewis. John Henry Lewis is at the tail end of his career. John Henry Lewis is a very good fighter. You know what I mean? Very good fighter. But he had a mad long career. And he was at the tail end of his career, was down on his luck financially as well. And Joe Lewis said, okay, you know, Joe Lewis did this Bomb of the Month tour. He said, right, I'm going to put you on this. I'm going to fight you in this tour, right? John Henry Lewis says, okay, but John Henry Lewis is like, oh, you give me a payday, but I'm actually trying to go in there and win. You know what I mean? No doubt. You know what I mean? Joe Lewis is one of the greatest heavyweights of all time and bangs him out in one round. That was John Henry Lewis's last fight. I think he had something like 115 fights. He had a mad record, something like that. And he gets knocked out in his last fight by Joe Lewis. But it's for the world title. And then he retires. I see the same thing happening in this fight, not talking about the result, but the fact that you see someone who you know, Tyson Fury and Derek Chisora, they know one another, they're friends, right? I would rather see Tyson Fury go and fight Derek Chisora than Manuel Charr, right? Because it's going to be here. Allegedly, the fight's going to be at Tottenham. Will we go out to go watch it? Yes, we will. Reason why? Because Derek Chisora is come off a very, very good win of Pulev. People will be turning around saying, well, Derek, what has he got left? And blah, blah, blah. But like I'm saying to you, Derek Chisora is crazy enough to think in his mind that he can win this fight. And because he's crazy enough to think that he's going to win the fight, everyone else is looking at, oh, you're just here as a dance partner. Derek Chisora is not looking at that. Derek Chisora is looking at, I'm going to win this fight. You know why I know? Because I know Don Charles. Don Charles is not looking at this, okay, then we're going to protect Derek and let him go through the rounds, we get a good payday, and then we can sail off into the sunset. No, sir. Don Charles is looking at this, because I spoke to Don Charles, they're looking, yeah, this is a winnable fight for him. How crazy it sounds and all the rest of it, right? But I'm going to say again, I would rather see Derek Chisora in with Tyson Fury than Manuel Charr, who doesn't carry no substance or no weight to me at all. Give Derek a shot. It's cool. Give him a shot.
Spence, could you understand the backlash though? Because a lot of fans are saying Tyson Fury is supposed to be the #1 heavyweight on the planet. He's fighting a guy that he's already fought twice and beat him comfortably. Surely there are other heavyweights out there that will give him a far greater test.
Yeah, I hear that. But I'm going to turn around. That's semantics as far as I'm concerned. I hear that where keep the money in the UK, right? #1. That's what he's doing. He's keeping the money in the UK, right? There has been worse heavyweight title fights than this one here. Far worse. And one thing I do know is that Derek Chisora is actually going out to try and win, right? He's not going to be within himself and try close rounds. He's going to try and win. So because of that, let the fight happen. Because it's fighters that we know and we've grown accustomed to, you know what I mean? I don't think nobody can begrudge Derek Chisora getting a world heavyweight title shot after everything that he's done within the sport. Especially at this time, I don't think nobody can begrudge him that. And also, nobody can begrudge Tyson Fury for fighting him in Derek Chisora instead of Manuel Charr. Nobody can. Because I'm telling you now that people will come out to watch this fight. I'm telling you. And you'll say, yeah, you're going to be backlash. You're not going to hear none of you journalistic guys, none of you guys who are holding cameras will criticize this fight. Not one. You know why? Because if you do criticize the fight, you know what? You're not getting no ticket to come to the fight. You're not getting no press accreditation to come to the fight. Because you guys behind the cameras who are there, you're not brave enough to criticize this fight. Go on. I want to see one of you guys who are holding the camera, any of you guys, I'll call you all out, criticize this fight. They're not going to. Right? I'm not going to criticize the fight simply because I've seen worse fights than this. Far worse for heavyweight titles. Far worse. I'm not going to go through the list because then people will say I'm trying to show off historically. So I'm not even going to go on there. But there have been. And I'm not complaining about that. I'm saying let Derek Chisora have his fight, and let Chisora be that guy who I know he's going to be crazy enough to think he's going to win. And one thing I do know, it's going to be entertaining. It's not going to be, oh, this was so farcical and blah. No, Derek's coming to win, right? Tall order for Tyson, for anybody to go against Tyson Fury. Anybody in the heavyweight divisions to go against him, tall order. So you say, Derek Chisora going up against him? Yeah, all right, cool. But give me him 10 times over man world champ.
Spencer, in the history of the sport, from your knowledge, and I am putting you on the spot here, so I don't expect you to know exactly the answer, but with someone like Derek, who's had 12 losses out of 33, 34 fights, has ever someone with so many losses fought the number one heavyweight and overcome and beaten that heavyweight?
No. I think the closest thing was James J. Braddock when he became world heavyweight champion. But no, I don't think there has been. To be true, no, there hasn't been. It's going to be, and he's going to be an overwhelming underdog going into this fight as well, right? But you know what? Crazier things have happened in boxing, and that's the truth. But Tyson Fury is badass. Tyson Fury is badass, and I can see exactly what Tyson Fury is doing. You know what I mean? I can see exactly what he's doing. He can do this. He said, right, I'm going to bring this show on the road. I'm going to bring it on the show on the road. And he's trying to do a Joe Louis and a bomb of the month, but he's doing a bomb of a year. That's what he's trying to do.
Well, we look forward to the announcement.
But I'm not calling Derek Chisora a bomb, all right?
No, certainly. And we look forward to the announcement of the next day or so. Spence, just quickly, I know we spoke quite in detail about the whole Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. and everything that took place. There was a quote I read, and I don't have the quote in front of me, but the quote went something the lines from Nigel Benn, and he said he saw a picture of Chris Eubank Jr. where his body didn't look great, and he said he then sent a text to Chris Eubank Sr. and said he apologized and said, I don't want Junior to be fighting at 157. He has to fight at 160 because of what he saw on that image.
Okay. I saw that picture, which he put out, yeah? And I was going to donate some money to the starving children in third world countries because of it. You know what I mean? Seriously, he looked drawn to me. That didn't look safe. That didn't look safe at all to me. But you know what? Regardless of the weight and everything else, and the fight got scuppered anyway, Chris Eubank Sr. was vehement on saying that fight should not happen at that weight. Boxing at this present moment needs to be legislated, right? So then there needs to be some form of governmental influence, if not similarly to what happened with football and the FA, but something needs to happen to govern this sport. Because boxing is the only sport in the world, yeah, that you don't have to have any qualifications to get involved in it. You don't have to study this thing to get involved in it. You don't have to. You just, I just want to get involved. You know what I mean? Oh, I want to. You know what I mean? Like, you go look at loads of these YouTubers who, let's start a boxing channel. They start a boxing channel because they think they're going to get eyeballs and they think it's a niche market. But do they really study boxing? No, they don't. Do they know anything about boxing? No, they don't. I've seen certain people who are inside it, and I know they know absolutely nothing about this thing. Nothing. They don't feel this thing. Like I said, boxing spiritual. They don't feel it, but they're involved in it. You know what I mean? Someone can come in and someone be in a gymnasium as a white collar fighter. You know what I mean? 2 weeks later, you know what I mean? They're handing up water to someone. 2 weeks later, they're holding pads and they're a trainer. This is how boxing is. And then they lie about their track record about what they did as an amateur and blah, and they never even had no amateur fights. This is what we get inside boxing, right? So it's time that we need to look at the sport and say, and really like fine tune certain things. And the reason why this is because we're getting loads of guys who turn professional who get relatively decent success. So they get success not off the back of their own natural athleticism, right? But then they'll bring a trainer along with them, right? Who don't know nothing. But because they're piggy banking off of the natural athleticism of a certain fighter, then they will get the limelight. Or they will be around somebody who has learned loads of stuff, knows way more than them, but they're just in there, that's like a pad man, split bucket man. But they'll come in the game. Then you get guys who are physicians, who work in the medical field, right? Who worm their way into boxing. They're actually boxing fans, but they worm their way into boxing and say, well, I can do this for a fight, I can do that for a fight, and then things go tits up. So boxing needs to be regulated and not tolerated. Because right now we're just tolerating boxing. So hence why we can say, well, fights are going ahead when certain people knew that fight shouldn't be going ahead. So we need this is so important in the sport that these things change, because I absolutely love this sport. I study this sport every single day, right? And we need to grow, period. Things need to change, right? The British Border Control do an excellent job. With the limited funds that they have, there are people who work inside of border control or on the border control who are very wealthy people, very, very wealthy. But the board in a whole is not wealthy. So what the board needs, it needs to have a regulated body, similarly to the FA, like, or UEFA. And once that comes into play, then we can change loads of the stuff and we can kind of lock down things. Like in America, it's different because boxing is legislated to the states of which they got. That's not the case in this country. So because that's not the case, you know what I mean? Just the other day, everyone was thinking, oh yeah, the Conor Benn and Eubank Jr. fight is going to go on, when there should have been no thought process going behind it. The fight should have been scoped. Somebody has failed a drug test, right? Innocent or guilty, the fight should have been scoped. But it wasn't. People still wanted it to go on. So, you know what I mean? Like I said, people have got to put principle over paper and morals over money and character over cash. And that's not been the case.
Spence, just finally, we saw the return to the ring on Saturday from Brooklyn, Barclays Center, Deontay Wilder with a sensational knockout win over Helenius. Has there ever been a bigger puncher than Wilder in heavyweight boxing?
You know what? We can argue and say George Foreman was more vicious. The man that just passed away recently, Ernie Shavers, because they were more vicious. But of this time here, like on shoulder knockouts, where you think, oh my goodness gracious. And I'll tell you why we say that. Is there been anyone as vicious a puncher as Deontay Wilder? And it's because he's learning things now with Malik Scott. So I got props for Malik Scott, right? He's learning things now, but we don't see it because he touches them and they go. But what I am saying is, like, whereas he doesn't do the fundamentals too, we ain't gonna see him now. I see he's working on him now, but in past fights, so now in past fights, we haven't seen him looking fundamentally sound, right? So because of that, then we look on the fact of his punching power. So if you look at that, then we're gonna say, yeah, he's because he doesn't do nothing else really good. But when he touches you, yeah, you're gone. But what he does really, really good. He's really good at putting himself in position to throw the shot. Right? He's very good at that. And he's got very, very quick reactional reflexes. So when he sees it to detonate that shot, he'll throw it and you're gone.
No, absolutely.
Right? So, yeah. So for that. So you know what I mean? It's but I'd like to see Deontay Wilder fight Usyk. Because Usyk was talking about it. Because I'm telling you this, if he claps Usyk, Usyk's gone. I don't business.
Spence, one of the hardest thing is with Usyk is to land a clean punch on him. But do you feel like if Wilder lands, Usyk's gone, night-night?
If Wilder lands, Usyk's gone. And the thing about Wilder is, like, he could land in round one, as we saw with Helenius. Wilder's had something against Helenius because, like, Helenius came with a bald head and a beard. It must have reminded him of Tyson Fury, right? So, yeah. Or round 12, if Wilder lands, or you're gone. Along business. Wilder, that was a vicious knockout. Nobody's come remotely close to doing that to Hellenius.
But
So yeah,
Wilder did say that him versus Joshua is a bigger fight than Fury versus Usyk.
I would say historically it's not. Financially it is. And for eyeballs, definitely is. That's a massive fight. And he's not lying. You know what I mean? Usyk is very good. Very, very good. For the purists, we like to see Usyk and Tyson, right? But then we'll say intangibles, Usyk's too small, and but no, right. So but no, that he's not lying. Joshua and Wilder, especially if they were to both go and fight in Africa, I think he done some DNA pool check where he was like, his people are from Benn, which is right next to Nigeria, and see Joshua of Nigerian descent. That fight could be in Nigeria. Get some of that Nigerian oil money that go over there and make that fight. It'd be massive.
Spencer Fearon, IFL TV, thank you very much.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something. Completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.